I'm Fallon Guillen.
I'm Susan Lupau.
I'm Riley Ferens.
And I'm Beth Hansen.
All right.
Okay, so were we all able to talk to someone from an organization?
Can I start then? I guess. Or somebody else wants to start?
Go ahead, Fallon.
All right. So the organization that I actually chose, it's the Ronald McDonald House of Charities here in Miami. I always, and I spoke with a girl, her name is Veronica Forte. She's actually the volunteer program coordinator. I had already worked with her. I had previously had given a workshop in there in which I actually learned so much from what they do. I always thought for some reason that it was for the homeless. I know, shame on me. It has nothing to do with it. Um, it's actually what they do is that they actually are able to operate kind of like a home away from home for families of children that have like serious illness and that are treated. Since I work for the University of Miami, in that case, they're actually treated in there, um, and and also in other nearby hospitals. But what they do is they actually provide like a safe and loving home where they can actually relax instead of having to pay. Because sometimes when they travel from so far, instead of having to pay a hotel, and sometimes they have to do it for months that they're in a city just so that their kids can receive treatments and stuff like that. So what they do is they have, per family, they have a room assigned. And each floor in this specific location, it has, I think it's 5 floors. Each floor has like a main, like an industrial kitchen where they can cook their meals, where they can, wash their dishes. They have everything provided except the food, so that still allows the family to go and buy their foods. And I think per family to stay the night, they don't pay that much. They pay maybe $50 or less. I think it doesn't go over $50. But if you think about it, for a whole family, if they're staying at a hotel, they end up paying so much more. And this actually, what they do is they provide, um, even transportation to the hospital. They actually have programs on a daily basis so that the children can be involved and they can forget a little bit about their stress and everything they're going through. So when I was able to go, I was actually able to teach them a workshop on how to deal with stress when going through medical conditions and medical treatments. So there's a lot of programs like that. I was also able to be part of, as a volunteer, you can actually pick a day or maybe a holiday where you can actually serve them a meal. Um, and I did it last year, and it was Thanksgiving. But you actually volunteer everything, so not only cooking the meal, but also, you know, from the food they'll eat to everything. If you end up volunteering, so they have a lot of programs that actually help them stay together as a family, um, especially when they're going through such hard times. They actually are able to be united even though when they're so stressed by the situation. But what they do is they can cook their meals, they can do their laundry, and they can actually, the cool part about this that advocates for the families that mostly everybody that's in there actually is going through the same things. So they receive support from others that are facing similar circumstances. Um, and they have programs for the families where they can actually do crafts together, where they have dances for daughters and fathers, sons and mothers. So it's actually very family oriented, and each floor has like their entertainment rooms where they have movies, where they can actually do movie nights with their families and things like that. So I actually thought it was pretty cool to go over the things that they do. So that is the organization that I actually got to know a little bit. So it was the Ronald McDonald House of Charities. That was mine.
Cool.
Any questions, ladies? No? Okay. So who's going next?
Can you hear me?
Yeah?
Yes.
Okay. It just cuts in and out, so if I start freezing, let me know. Mine wasn't as in depth. I just did it over email because I know it's a bit of an experience being able to see it on my period time. But I just did the orphanage orphanage support services organization that they have here in Rexburg. Well, the
Helen,
administrative office.
by any chance do you have headphones? Maybe that will help. Because you're cutting off.
But I'll put them back in. I thought the headphones were the problem. Is that any better?
Try talking again.
Gosh, I don't know.
No, it's cutting off. Do you want to just write it down? We can see it. Somebody can read it aloud. The things that when you talk is just very, very delayed. Like right now.
Yeah, do y'all have the chat open?
Yes.
I can, there you go.
I can go while Heather's working on that.
Okay.
Um,
Sorry, I had said that I would do the summary, so I'll go ahead and start typing.
I did the Waco WIC program, just because that was easy for me to do. Last week we all got the flu and then food poisoning, so this week's been kind of rough on coming back from that, especially with being pregnant. That's always fun. So the WIC program, I use it for my son, but I guess I just always used it because it was something my sister was like, well, you can use it, like it'll help a lot, and it really does, because it's like I've learned a lot. And it tag teams with another thing that's called Live Well Waco, and it's the whole mission of this thing is to supplement nutrition and provide guidelines and knowledge for especially new moms and families with young children. And I always thought that was a cool thing, because I feel like in today's world you have a lot of people who are being young moms but who are not exactly, they don't know, or they don't have an income, they don't know where to ask questions, and I just thought that this was a good place to do, and they're just really are good about advocating for especially young children. And so the clinic provides nutrition counseling, food benefits at grocery stores, breastfeeding advice and education, nutrition educational classes. They can recommend you to, like, out of they recommend you outside of the clinic if you need like counseling. If you're not safe within your home, they have like counselors for that. They just do a lot to help educate women. And a lot of young moms, every time I'm in the WIC office, I usually see about 4 or 5 other moms who are probably 16 to 18 years old. And this is the only like prenatal health that they're getting at all. And so every time I hear them talking about their, oh, I didn't even know this, and I didn't know this about babies, and I didn't know I needed to do this or be eating this. And so I thought that was a really unique thing. And so I asked more about like how it works and why it got started. And honestly, it was started as a government program because of a need. And I was talking to one of their managerial people, and they were saying how they keep up with these women. So the women come in when they're first pregnant, and then they have to come in every 3 months for their pregnancy. So they'll see them 4 times over their pregnancy. And that way they can track the women's iron, their weight, they can track the women's nutrition, they can have specialists come in and do like prenatal visits for women who got involved or who don't get involved. Especially here in Waco, we have a very high number of poverty in the Hispanic and the African American cultures, and there are whole neighborhoods designated to people who need help, just because the poverty levels are really high in half of the city. And so WIC originally came here because it wasn't here originally, but it came here because of that need. And like I said, the reason I got involved with this in the first place is because of like me and using my son. But then the lady that I was talking about, she had never had to use WIC. She wasn't married and didn't have kids, but for her it was because she had seen her sisters and her friends go through a really hard time and not know anything. And so she felt like she needed to be someone who could teach and to organize. The most prevalent problems that she saw in the community was the poverty and the lack of health insurance, which is why people weren't, especially really young moms, weren't getting prenatal visits. They weren't eating the right foods because it was too expensive. And so that was her biggest problem was the moms not getting the help, and then the not having a good diet. How does the organization help children and families locally? WIC is a free thing. It's been really great. I know I've got a couple of friends who have talked about how if they didn't have WIC, they wouldn't be able to afford like the basics. They don't get milk, they don't get eggs, and they don't buy cheese because cheese is too expensive. You know, they just get the cheap sugary juices, and they get a lot of junkier foods that aren't good for them. And so it really promotes healthier lifestyles. And our WIC here, they just started this thing last year where they put together it's called the Live Well Waco food, and it's a cookbook, and it comes with like ideas of everything that you can get on your WIC shopping list. It comes with fun ideas for like dinners and snacks and breakfasts and lunches, so it helps families not feel so like condensed. And so it's really been a good thing for helping people learn, not even just try to like make eating fun for their kids, but just teaching them healthy habits, because they've really been feeling like if you can teach them healthy habits, they'll teach their kids healthy habits, and you can avoid a lot of the problems that we see. I definitely feel like the organization is child and family focused, and so did this woman. They work a lot on family planning at our WIC office too, and they work a lot with helping children, like if there's developmental delays, they're really good about being on top of that and getting speech pathologists in the home to help parents, or they're really good about getting parents into classes to help teach the parents the skills that they might need. And then I don't remember the last one. I'll have to look up my last 2 questions. I don't remember which ones I asked. I was doing this over email too, just like, well, I was doing it on the phone and email, so I kind of had notes in 2 spots. But overall, I just felt like and so did this woman. That they were very child and they were very family focused, because I mean that's the whole point of WIC, is to provide a healthier lifestyle and give children and give families a better chance at having healthy lifestyles and correcting behaviors that can lead to generational positives instead of just a continuation of generational pitfalls. And that's what I have.
Awesome. Can I go next because my baby isn't crying
Yeah.
for the first 5 minutes since this has started? So, my program that I decided to do, my husband's actually a social worker. He works as a, I don't know how to explain his job. He doesn't have a title really, but I interviewed his supervisor. It's called Ashton Memorial Youth and Family Renewal Services, and it's located in Idaho Falls. And so the job of my husband and the supervisor, they actually have the same job, except the supervisor just kind of oversees all that goes on, is they go into the homes of children with open child protective cases, and they teach parenting skills and hygiene, and sometimes he even has helped people clean their houses or learn how to keep clean house or how to budget so that they can keep their kids or get their kids back from the system. He does, or they do. Sorry, I interviewed her. So they do these things kind of like family histories, pretty much, of like mental illness or disease or what they have in the past. And then they also work with children and families who have disabilities. So they're really family-centered. The whole purpose is to keep families together as best they can. It's here in, I said Idaho Falls, but he works all the way to Driggs, and he's in Idaho Falls tonight until 9. So he just has a really flexible schedule, and so they all do. But so something interesting really is that the problems that they address with families are mainly in this area, kind of surprising because we have a very high LDS population, so you kind of wouldn't expect it. But they work with a lot of drug-addled families. And one of the biggest threats to families that he sees is that it's not even drugs, it's just that when people are on drugs or when they're addicted to technology or food even, they can put their kids on the back burner, and they don't even like their kids. They don't even want to be around them or to play with them or to take care of them. And so he sees a lot of that in this area, which again I think is kind of surprising. But the main reason for neglect for children, like Susan was saying in her presentation, I don't remember if that was last week or the week before, but it was just that people neglect their children because they have other things like drugs or technology, or they just don't care enough. They don't like their kids enough to pay attention to them. And so they address those issues, and they teach skills out of different sources. They have, it's called 1, 2, 3 Magic is the book that they use to teach discipline to parents so that they can be better parents and stuff. And so I know social workers aren't supposed to say much, but I know I get a lot of the comments of what goes on. He can't tell me who it is or names or any specific details about them, but it's just interesting. I think it was yesterday he comes home and he says, I was sitting at this family on this family's couch, and as I was teaching parenting skills, a rat literally just ran right across the floor. And so it's just, that's mostly, they just teach and try to help people get their kids back, and that's really the point of Ashton Memorial. They also have a counseling clinic and something called the Gus House, the Gustavson House, and parents can, if they just can't handle their kids or if their kids are being violent or self-harming, they can go to the Gus House and they can keep them there to make sure that they're safe and not in trouble in any way. So yeah, so that was the organization that I looked up. Any questions? It's not very well known. So.
They're still on. It's taking me a minute to get on.
Alan, your mic is muted.
Just realized that. Can you repeat again the name of the organization? You said Ashton.
Ashton Memorial Youth and Family Renewal Services. It's way long. For a second, I was like, "Oh man, were we supposed to like fill something out for everyone?" But then I remembered you doing the summary, so.
Yeah.
But I got it. Ronald McDonald House, OSSO with.
Okay.
Okay, I'll go. I think I'm the last one, yeah?
And then Heather, it's typing, I guess. Yeah. Go.
Yeah, she has it typed up.
Okay. Okay, I interviewed a lady who runs the local YMCA here. 'Cause I have friends that go to YMCA for stuff, and I had no idea really what goes on there. Anyway, she started there. She started working when she was in college. She was a year-round swim coach, and then just loved it so much she decided to keep going, and now she runs the whole place. She said the most prevalent problems for families in our community, which really surprised me on this one, was homelessness. I guess because of where I live like about 15 minutes away from NASA, and like literally our school here has kids whose parents are astronauts. I mean, it's a really nice area, and so I thought, holy cow, we have homeless people right here in our area. It just really surprised me. She also said college readiness and after-school care for children is lacking. Aquatic safety was huge because so many kids don't know how to swim. And here in Houston, there's so much water everywhere that it really is a problem. And then chronic disease prevention, like diabetes and youth obesity, is a huge problem. So YMCA does so much more than I even thought. They help with tutoring, they do swim lessons, they do all kinds of different activities and lots of physical workouts, like lots of classes and stuff that people can get into. But there's also like teaching programs. They teach families, they teach children, super family oriented. And she was saying that as far as it being child focused or family focused, she said that it's kind of both, because as they teach the children are then able to actually go home and teach these things to their families and make their families stronger. And there's also information for the parents and classes that the parents can attend. So it's really it really turns out to impact the whole family. Let's see, some of the people they pay membership dues. They get a lot of their funding. One of the extra questions I asked was, how do they get their funding? Because they offer so many scholarships to kids for after-school programs and day camps and swim lessons and stuff, that I thought, well, how are you getting money? But they get a lot of their money from United Way funding. They get some grants, and they get some annual campaign things that they fundraise for. And then they also get, some people pay regular memberships, and I guess it goes by income. They even, the participants that take part and have to verify their W-2s every year in order to take part in the scholarship programs. So I thought that was interesting. I like that, because then people can't just be taking advantage when they don't really need it. She said, I also asked if they had any programs for the special needs population. And she said, yes, all over, all YMCAs have special needs. They allow for the special needs. They have like buddy programs where they pair up special needs kids with regular education kids, and they can play sports and do anything that anybody else is doing. And they try to accommodate their disabilities as much as they can. I was really impressed with how many different things they do. I thought YMCA was just like swimming and sports and stuff, but it was really interesting that they have so many tutoring programs and other education to offer to the kids, even helping them get ready for college. And teaching them about health issues and how they can be better and be healthy themselves and go home and teach their families how to be healthy. It was really interesting. That's it.
Very cool. All right, so does someone just so that we can have it in, because I don't think she's going to have access to this. Can somebody just read what Heather wrote so that we can have it on recording, and then I'll go over the summary quickly. Yes? Anybody?
Is it still up somewhere? Because it disappeared. It popped up and then it disappeared really quick off of my screen.
Yeah, so on your left-hand side, it's going to say chats. On the top, it's on a blue
Oh, there it is.
square. If you click on it, you'll be able to see it.
I can read it.
Okay.
She said, I interviewed the OSSO program, or Orphanage Support Service Organization. Their administrative office is here in Rexburg, but they send volunteers and funds to orphanages in Ecuador and Thailand. So it's not so much local. I learned that there are opportunities to serve through donations or to travel with the program. Their focus is on making life better for children in orphanages, improving their development, and preparing them for possible adoption. She said that some community agencies lack the resources, time, and knowledge, or culture respect to really make a difference. Part of their belief statement is that no institution can replace a loving family, although they must sometimes try. Most of the problems they see for the children they work with come through the breakup of the family, through drugs, alcohol, abuse, poverty, etc. They don't affect children and families much locally, but they prepare children for a healthy future in needy communities and allow an easier way for people here to serve.
Cool. Thank you. All right, if it's okay with you guys, I'm going to go over the summary for everybody. Okay. I'll just do it out of order. Riley, you spoke about the Ashlands Memorial Youth and Family Renewal Services, how it's an open child protective services. They learn parental skills, budgeting programs, family history. They also learn about mental illness and disease. Also, children and families with disabilities are able to learn programs and how they can actually keep families together. The problems that they address are mainly in your area. You mentioned like drug adult families, and that people that neglect their children is because they have other things and other distractions. You also spoke about the book they use to teach, which is the 1, 2, 3 Magic, and it's to teach parents skills. Then Beth spoke about, I don't know if I heard this right, but you said something, Wake a Week program. Is that right?
WIC. Yep, W-I-C. WIC.
Okay. So you mentioned that you used it for your own son, that as a mother you've learned so much that it helps mothers to learn more about nutrition and the knowledge for mothers with young children or the first time being mothers, and also it helps them whenever they don't know where to ask questions or where to go. It is a good program. It's also advocating for young children. You're able to receive nutrition education classes, counseling, so women are receiving education, how to become better mothers. You mentioned that you've seen mothers that go from 16-year-olds to 18. They receive prenatal support. They got started this program as a government program. And what they do with young mothers when they go, they're able to not only receive prenatal education, but also they go 4 times over their pregnancy just to check their health, as a prenatal visit, their weight. Also, they learn how to eat better. It is a free program, so they learn the basics. how to have a healthier lifestyle and how to live better. And there's the Live Well book where they learned. I'm not sure if I got that. Um, where they learned. Do you say recipes? Healthy recipes? I'm not quite sure if it was that. And it's very family oriented. They learn family planning. And they also receive support from professionals in the given field if there's any specific issue. Like you were saying, speech pathologists and things like that are able to come and give support. Susan, you spoke about your local YMCA. The person that you actually interviewed, she was a swim coach that started like that, and then now she's running the whole place. She mentioned about the biggest problems about homelessness, after-school programs and aquatics prevention or something like that. Also chronic disease, yeah. Also chronic disease prevention. They do a lot of tutoring, lots of activities and physical activities. They teach families and children, and that they get their money from grants, campaigns, and United Way, and also the membership. That also they, in order to receive help or the grants, or their scholarships, they actually verify the income with the W-2 just to make sure that the people that really need it are the ones receiving it. And they also have programs for kids with special needs, like the buddy programs to play sports, to accommodate their disabilities, and even helping kids to get ready for college. And then, let's see, Heather, you interviewed the OSSO program, which is the Orphanage Support Services organization, and you mentioned that it's not as local. It's not really so much local, but there's opportunities to serve through donations, to travel with the program, that they focus on making life better for children in orphanages, improving their development and preparing them for possible adoption. And also it mentions about some problems, which is how communities, agencies actually lack the resources, the time, and the knowledge of their culture, respect to really make a difference. So, yeah, that was the summary. I hope I got most of it for everybody.
Sounds good.
All right.
Yeah, thank you.
Great job, guys.
Have fun at conference. I'm sure we'll see you before then, but that's awesome.
I'm so excited.
Every time we go to Utah, we get In-N-Out Burger too. So.
Oh yeah.
I am so going for that. Sorry, Heather, you want to stop recording?
Susan, don't they have In-N-Out in Texas?
And
They're
Dallas.
opening them up. They just got one in Waco.
They're not in Houston yet.
No,
Lucky.
they're setting up. So, hey, can you not eat my headphones? Oh, I knew those. Sorry, gross. Okay.